What up? I'm Trip Papelka. This is the Braves TomaBlog, where every subscription leads to a Braves loss. It's been discussed since we realized how fickle our pitching staff was about 8 months ago that we could use another veteran starter. We had some. Their names were Bud Norris and Jhoulys Chacín, but they're dead to us now. They live on in our hearts and our minor league system. So I've identified 7 starting pitchers that I would like to see the Braves go after. Not all at the same time. I don't want a starting pitching orgy. Just, 1 or 2 of them. Now, there are some areas where I think I need to clear up what I think our needs are. You guys are welcome to disagree with me. I don't think that we need another number 1 starter. Chipper Jones said in an interview it would be ideal to have a number 1 starter and make Teheran the number 2 guy. If we can get one on the cheap, that's great. I don't think that can happen. We would either have our money or our farm system gutted for one of those, and I don't think that we need one. I think that Teheran is a satisfactory number 1 starter. So I'm not interested in Chris Sale, Jose Quintana, or Chris Archer, or Sonny Gray, or guys like that. Anyone that we're going to have to spend years of recovery time to add. If we're going to give up a lot of prospects to add something, I want it to be a power bat. So now here's the list of 7 starting pitchers for the Braves to go after. Number 1, Doug Fister. Fister? I hardly know her. I've been waiting 6 months to use Doug Fister's name on this blog. I really like, and I always have liked Doug Fister. I'm jealous of the Astros because they bought so low on him this offseason. They should have bought more years while they were at it. He's been on a 1-year, $7 million contract. To that, he's pitched 153 innings to a 3.59 ERA. The one problem with Fister is, given the lack of depth on the starting pitcher free agent market, that might escalate his value beyond what he's actually worth this year. Fangraphs estimates that he's been worth about $12 million this year. I expect that he'll get at least that, if not 15 the next year, and he might get covered for as much as 3 years. I don't want 3 years of Doug Fister. I would like 2 years of Doug Fister. That would be great. I would offer him a 2-year, $25 million contract very early in the offseason and see if he bites on that, because he might not want to wait out free agency like he had to last offseason. Number 2, Bartolo Colon. He's 43 years old. He doesn't look a day over 49. I know that Bartolo Colon is a Major League Baseball player, but to me, he looks like a ticket taker on the Polar Express. If I were Bartolo Colon and I was going to play a Major League season at 44 years old, I want to play for a contender. But if I've played as long as Bartolo Colon has, and I've only made $65 million for my entire career, I'm going to go to the team that offers me the most money. That's what the Braves should be. I think the Braves should offer Bartolo Colon a 1-year, $13 or $14 million contract. I don't know how Bartolo Colon remains so underpaid. He also is on a 1-year, $7 million contract. Number 3, Jeremy Hellickson. Jeremy Hellickson, I would be a little more willing to offer more years than money. That being said, I think that would be a solid investment. He's on the exact same money and years as Fister and Colon, 1 year, $7 million. The thing is, he's 29 years old, and he hasn't repeated the outstanding season which he's had. 150 innings, 3.60 ERA, 2.5 WAR. Even if he takes a step back, I still see him as a solid number 2 starter that you can put behind Julio Teheran and have a solid pitching staff. I would like to see 3 years, $30 to $35 million for Hellickson. That may sound a little bit high, but Fangraphs estimate his value at $20 million for this year. With a proven track record like Bartolo Colon, I would rather pay a lot of money for 1 year. With a guy without that much of a proven track record but can be very good like Hellickson, I would rather short on the yearly basis and offer him more years so that he can be more valuable in a trade should we elect to do that. And that makes perfect sense for Jeremy Hellickson too. It'll be hard to repeat the season that he had. I guarantee you he's telling his agent, get me as many years as possible in free agency this year. Number 4, Ryan Vogelsong. Ryan Vogelsong is so cheap you can get him and still add another starter if you wanted to. He is 39 years old, like AJ Pierzynski and Jason Grilli were this past year. He's pitched to a 3.02 ERA in 2016 despite some injuries. He's on a 1-year, $2 million contract with Pittsburgh right now. Give him 1 year and $4 million. I guarantee you will beat the rest of the market on that. No one wants to give $4 million to a guy that's about to be 40. Ideally, you can get him for around $3 million, if you get out in front of everyone else. It's a bit risky for a guy that's battled as many injuries and fought in Vietnam as much as Ryan Vogelsong has, but as far as good short-term production on the extremely cheap, Ryan Vogelsong is your best option. and I am sick of seeing 20 pitchers called up and sent back down every year. Number 5, Jake Odorizzi. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Rays this year, but they've been pretty bad. And their farm system really needs a boost. They did sell on Matt Moore earlier. I think that they'll continue that trend this offseason. The thing is, I don't know if they're going to keep their GM or not. I would recommend that they don't, but if they do, they could fall into a similar trap that Cincinnati has fallen into, where, they have to sell because they're obviously losing and their farm system needs a boost, but, they have a tendency to sell low and sell short because the front office feels like they're being forced to sell. At least, that's what I assume is wrong with Cincinnati's front office. Odorizzi, I think, would probably end up costing you 4 prospects. I would make it a lower level guy like Allard or Wentz. I think that's about worth it for, 3 cost-controlled years of a guy with a 3.70 ERA. Number 6, Drew Smyly. Literally the cheaper version of Jake Odorizzi. He does have some health issues that he's dealt with for the entirety of his career. Here's why I like Drew Smyly. It's a great opportunity to buy low on Tampa Bay, who has to sell. He has a 4.80 ERA this year, but a 3.67 career ERA. Here's what else I like about him is that he is the cheaper version where you could get him, you could get a good innings eater, maybe 2 solid prospects that you could get him for, and you could go out and you would still have money to go out and get another pitcher to pair with him as well, like Ryan Vogelsong. 2 pitchers for the price of 1. Take the Blue Jays as the best example of this, where a year ago, everyone thought that they would be screwed if they didn't go out and overpay for David Price via free agency. Instead, they opted to, take the pitching on the free agent market that was very cheap, which was Marco Estrada and J.A. Happ. They paired that with Aaron Sanchez, who's in the Cy Young running, if you want to go into the bullpen, and R.A. Dickey, and Marcus Stroman, and they have the best ERA in the American League. Number 7, Matt Shoemaker. So speaking of teams that need to sell but don't want to and aren't good at it. 29 years old, 4 years remaining of arbitration, he has a 3.98 ERA. The fact that he's 29 years old, I think will probably keep the Angels from holding on to him for too long. They have younger guys like Garrett Richards and Tyler Skaggs, who I think they would rather hold on to long term. The Angels need prospects of any kind because they have none. And it's probably going to take them some last place finishes to get some. Once again, I don't want to overpay for elite level starting pitching because I think that we already have that in the ranks. I don't want to keep relying on guys that aren't ready to get wins. Be sure to tune back in on Friday for the next episode of Weekly Braves Rants, #Weekly Braves Rants. This is the Braves TomaBlog. It's a YouTube channel dedicated to talking about the Braves and talking about baseball in general. If that sounds interesting to you, if it sounds like it might be for you, check out the channel, scroll through the homepage, scroll through the videos, see if it's for you. I hope you enjoyed, and go Braves.